Formula.
Welcome everybody to Formula Friday. It is me, Lewis. Not here with me today is Nick. He is out today, but we will take over and we'll do what we call a single seater for the single seater series that we love. So, before I jump into the news and everything that's happened, let's I was gonna ask Nick what's going on with him, but there's nothing to ask because Nick's not here. Nothing new with me in my life, so nothing new to report. But I guess let's just get into it. The news that it's coming out this week. There is a new startup procedure that the FIA is now testing, which is all the cars go to the starting grid, the blue lights come on, and they rev up for 5 seconds. And then the starting lights come on. This is because the engine takes so long to spool up and takes so long for the turbo to go, and since the engine is now 50-50, it's harder to get that boost and that pressure right and getting the power right, and it's going to be different watching it from Australia this year, Australia on, because this is, I don't know, I feel like they are kind of circumventing their own rules and trying to figure out stuff to make the viewers happy, even though they are the ones that created these rules. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this entirely. It feels different. I just haven't really wrapped my head around them creating new rules and regulations to counteract their own rules and regulations. It kind of feels counterintuitive. And I know I'm not the only one who feels this way about these new regulations. Plenty of the drivers have said something and everything. So I just feel like it's going to be a difference for a while, as it is with every new regulation. And I don't know. I just feel like it's, like I said, it's going to be different, and eventually we'll get used to it and it'll move on. It's kind of like how, I don't know, how it is in every new regulations. Every new regulations is good until, like, they're not good until they're good, and everyone just gets used to it. We felt that way with the blast regulations, with the porpoising and everything. So I feel like this is eventually going to work its way out, and we're going to be used to it. But it's just going to be a little bit of a difference. You're going to be looking forward to or seeing at Australia this year. Possibly. They're testing it out. I don't know if they're going to implement this midway through or what. Speaking of implementing something midway through, transition, Mercedes, the FIA has just announced that they are submitted a proposal for a new engine test to be established during the summer break of the 2026 season. This follows the dispute that has been dominated the preseason, with the rival manufacturers questioning the legality of the Mercedes power unit that will be used by four teams. Those 4 teams are all the Mercedes supplied cars, like Alpine, Mercedes, obviously, McLaren, Williams. And I don't know how I feel about this, because in one part of my mind it's like, okay, cool, they're doing a new regulation, or I forget what they call it, like a midway through regulation to help even out the playing fields. But on the other hand, I really enjoy how the engineers found a loophole and used it to their advantage. That's kind of the point of, not really the point of F1, but that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy F1 over other motorsports that are so constricted. It's, you find the gray areas, you find the loopholes, you find every tenth you can where you can, even if that means a different compression ratio, a different temperature or something. It's one of the engineering feats that I just love with Formula One. One thing that I do love with Formula One is they had their dual axis steering system. And Mercedes did that, which was they turned the wheel in and out to move the tires in and out. And that was amazing and warmed up the tires quicker, but it was outlawed a season later, which I'm okay with. They found a loophole. They found it. They did great with it. It warmed up the front tires amazingly. I just don't like the technical regulations in mid-season just to get rid of an advantage that somebody has. In the chat, Mo said, wait, were you saying that allowed to having the delay at the start for spool time? I'm not a Ferrari fan, but if they did that, they are screwing Ferrari. Kinda, yeah, Mose. It's all the there is a little bit of a delay now with the cars with the spool up and because it's 50-50 power and all of this. So yeah, they are kind of they're trying to get everyone on the same level playing field, but they've known about these regulations for a while. And my counter argument to all this is the engine regulations have been proposed for a long time. They knew this was going to happen, and the previous regulations were frozen. You could not mess with the previous regulation engines for, I think it was 2 or 3 seasons. So you knew what you were going to come into, and you knew what it was going to be like, and you had plenty of time to do testing and everything. I know they have rules and regulations how far you can test and CFD times and all this, but out of all this time, you couldn't have seen this coming, and that's kind of the weird gray area to me. Is like, why could you not have seen this coming? Back when we had the porpoising issue, Ross Brawn, who you might know that name from Brawn GP, where he bought, I forgot what team it was, for $1, and he did an amazing, like that team won a championship the 1 year, and then they sold it to Mercedes. He ran the technical directions, or he helped implement the 2024 regulations, the previous regulations, 2022. I'm bad with the years. And he said that, yeah, porpoising is going to be an issue. One way you can look at this is look at like IMSA and their prototype cars. They use a lot of ground force or ground effects for their downforce. Why has no one looked in there? I don't know. Like, he saw that as like, hey, this series does it. Why don't you guys look over there? Maybe this can help you. Like, I guess I'm talking in circles here, but my point being is like, why they knew this was coming. I feel like they could have figured out that this issue would have been here. And I don't know. It's for as many smart guys there are in Formula One. I just feel like this was skated by too. Like, it just skated underneath the rug. Like, I feel like there's a whole bunch of smart people in F1, and they could have figured this out way before now. Or maybe they knew this was going to be an issue, but they figured if they complain about it, maybe it won't be an issue. I don't understand it. Maybe it's the politics behind it. I don't know. Well, I guess I'm going through these news pretty quickly, and I'm sorry about this. But Turkey coming back for 2027. According to Racing News 365, F1 is set to add Turkey back in the calendar in the 2027 season, which honestly I'm kind of okay with. Turkey was a fun track. It's, as you see on the screen, it's relatively the design isn't too extreme or whatever, and I don't know, there's parts of it that remind you of other tracks, which it makes sense because this is a tilt track. And for the Formula One fans, family and fanatics that know, I'm not a huge Herman Tilke fan, but I'm okay with Turkey. As weird as it is, I'm okay with this track because it's not a bad track. I don't know. It's nice to see a track come back, and I've always kind of wanted F1 to have a rotating door of tracks. My idea to save a lot of the tracks, like people want to race here, people want to race here, people don't want this track to go, or like they don't want Spa to go and stuff like that. Why don't we have a rotating door? Why don't we keep the mainstays? We have Monza. I would say that first because it's the best track ever. That stays. Silverstone, Spa, Coda, and I don't know, I'm trying to think of another one. Australia. And if you have to appease somebody from the Middle East, Abu Dhabi or something, you keep those 6 tracks. You have a rotating door of like 5 other tracks that come and go. You can have Turkey come back. You can have like France come back, even though that track was not very good either, even on the eyes. But I just wish they would do more of that. I get that there's a whole money and everything else involved and yada, yada, yada. And it's kind of like Mose just said, the last thing people want is Miami listed until 2048. And the reason that is, from what I've heard, is when Liberty was trying to purchase Formula One, and or Liberty or the other parent company were trying to purchase Formula One, they were in a bidding war with another person who owns the Hard Rock or Miami, one of the two. And I could be getting this way wrong, but this is what I remember. Anyways, for Liberty or whoever bought Formula One at that time, to get them to get the purchase agreement, they told the other people, "Hey, you take your bid out, and we'll promise you can have a race at Miami until 2048 or whatever it is." And that's the reason why it's there, is because they made a underneath the table agreement before they bought the asset of Formula One. And it is what it is. Money, it's stupid, but like I think there's FIA grade tracks that we could race all over the world that are Formula One ready to go. And I just feel like there's a lot better opportunities for better racing, better viewership, and a lot, I don't know, better racing for like the drivers. And it's not just one type of track, or you would have different, like NASCAR, how it has intermediates, it has small tracks, whatever they're called, super speedways and everything. You would have that in Formula One, and you would have people that are really good. And we have that. We have regular circuits and we have street circuits, but like having the different types of the regular circuits would be a nice mixture. Or like Monza, I feel like is like a super speedway of Formula One. It's fast, it's good. I really enjoy that track. And I just feel like there's other tracks that give us opportunities for better racing that is not being looked at, partially because of money, but I don't know. I just feel the money's kind of ruining it, and it sucks. But I get it, because you need money to race. But I just feel like the money is kind of ruining it, because we have so much. There's so many better opportunities. And while we're at it, if you want to, if you Mohammed Bay Salayim, if you're listening to this, if you're going to do my idea, those main tracks that stay, those are the sprint races. You get more racing at those tracks. Those are the Grand Slam Grand Prix. Feel free to use that. That is a great name for you. And you can have those as meaning like double points for these races, because they're so awesome. And these are going to be the big races, and everyone needs to pay attention. And you can sell the hell out of them and promote the hell out of it. But they don't do that, and they sprinkle in sprint races wherever they feel like it. And sprint races are a whole nother thing. I do not enjoy them, but I'm getting off track. I just wish that we had better tracks, I guess. And I'm good with Turkey coming back. I just don't know what's going to replace. And as bad as it is, like Spa's a fun track. It's historic. I love it, but it's not great racing, and that could be the issue. And I could see Spa maybe getting kicked out or something. And I don't know. Also, random fun fact, I got time. It's just me talking. I'm just spitballing ideas. We got our Formula friends, family, and fanatics listening. You guys want to make a Spa better, make it more safe and everything? Going through Radion and Eau Rouge, those really, Eau Rouge and Radion, had it backwards. You want to make it more exciting? Run the track backwards. Eau Rouge and Radion, those are the last corners. You enter the pits from the top of the hill. You don't have to worry about coming up the hill to a blind spot. I'm just saying, it's there for the idea. If you want to use it, you go uphill, sweeping to the right to the no name and everything. I think it'd be better. You go through the Camel Straight. I'm just saying, good idea. Maybe test it out. I'm not sure. Anyways, on to other news. Oh, wait 1 second. Mo says sprint races sound fun, but they just add a boring race to what may be a good track otherwise. No one takes risk in a sprint. Exactly. That's why I do dislike sprints so much. Yes, they have some points available to them, and you can get some championship points, but what's the downside? You wreck your car and chase 7 points, maybe 10 points, whatever it is, to like win. But if you're not one of the top 3 teams, then realistically, what do you get? Like whatever. Low podium in a sprint race, so 7 points, 5 points. You wreck your car, or get 5 points, and then your mechanics have to work all night to get your car ready to go, and then you lose testing because I think we saw that Coda last year. McLaren didn't have the practice, and then didn't have the, well, then they wrecked at it in the sprint race. Just they bottomed out and everything, and they don't get the plank wear test and all this, and just sprint races. I feel like they could be done way different. Maybe do a different style of grid. I don't know. It needs to be more exciting, but like it would be a perfect way if you take a sprint race and you promote the hell out of it and double races this weekend, double points on the table, and all this. It's a Grand Prix, Grand Slam. Just saying, Grand Prix, Grand Slam. I just think it's a great name. You could use that. Just saying. All right. Anyways, Mercedes have announced their third driver, Frederick Vesti. Now, Frederick Vesti is a driver. He's been, well, obviously he's a driver. I'm not surprised I said that there. But anyways, he's worked his way up from Formula 3, Formula 2, EMLS, which is the European Le Mans series. He's also done IMSA, which I recognize that name for. He is in IMSA. He had 8 starts, 2 wins, 3 podiums, 1 pole, 2 fastest laps. He drove for Cadillac Williams. Or not Cadillac Williams, I'm sorry. Cadillac Whelan. I am so sorry about that mistake. But he seems like a good driver, and Mercedes is actually making a decent move with this, and I'm kind of okay with this. And I don't know. It could be a shot to get a young guy who's been racing like throughout he's done the ladder, he has the points. It'd be nice to see that and go move from a guy who watches IMSA. It'd be cool to see a guy go kind of from IMSA to Formula One instead of vice versa. Because when he was in IMSA, his teammate was Earl Bamber and Jack Aiken. Jack Aiken was Williams' reserve driver for a little bit. So it'd be kind of cool to see the opposite happen, and hopefully he does get a shot that, it's not just a reserve driver that leads to nothing, which it's possible, but I'm okay with this move. I see nothing wrong with this, and they have to replace Bottas somehow, and that man's hard to replace. And next news topic, Red Bull chief designer Craig Skinner left the team. He was with Red Bull since 2005. And the thing about Craig Skinner is that he worked really closely with Adrian Newey and was not really right-hand man, but obviously being a chief designer and you're working next to the GOAT, Adrian Newey, you learn a lot from him. So nothing is said yet that I have seen about where he is going, what he is doing. Maybe he can help Aston. I don't know. Well, you'd have to garden leave, but this leads kind of down the rabbit hole. What's going to happen with Red Bull? I mean, you obviously lost Christian, which not a big loss. You lost Helmut, again, not a big loss. You're better off without him. But then you lose, or before that, you lose Newey, you lose Craig. I just feel like more and more people are leaving, and it could be for many different reasons. I'm not saying there's anything internally wrong with them, but it kind of leads the mind to think, what's going to happen with Red Bull? Are going to meet more people jumping ship? Are people getting tired of winning? Is the car not going to be good? They're just tired of the way the company is ran. I don't really know, and I don't know Craig personally, so I can't really ask him. But so we're just left to speculate, and one kind of has to ask, who's next? Is it going to be GP? Is it going to be Max? That would be interesting. And if Max were to leave, I feel like any seat he wanted would be open, except for Lance Stroll's. And I feel like that is well earned. All right, that's it for the news segment. And this, one second, let me get this going. Sorry about that. So we had preseason testing again, and it was something. Here's the day 1 classification from whatever. Bahrain test 2, day 1 classification. As we see, George Russell is fast? Question mark? 76 laps on there. And if you look through here, all those Mercedes engine powered, like those Mercedes powered, they're putting in a lot of laps. That Mercedes engine seems pretty reliable. And also, VCARB put in a decent number of laps. But then if you scroll down and you look at Aston Martin had kind of an issue this week. Aston Martin had a spin. Oh, wait. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Let me back that up. I'm so sorry about that. Okay. I forgot the order I had these pictures in. We go first and look at the Charles Leclerc. Look at that lap time. That's a pretty good lap time. Only 2/10 off of George Russell. But Ferrari came with a new, I don't want to call it a rear wing, but kind of a rear wing. They came with this little cutout over like the rain light that kind of the exhaust gases hit. Now, I'm not an aerodynamicist at all. I love aerodynamics. I am not smart enough to understand it. I do not see air like Adrian Newey does. But from my little knowledge, this kind of reminds me of a blown diffuser or a double diffuser. Like I'm assuming the exhaust gases, that's tough to say, are pushing right onto this little wing and helping the car squat a little bit on the rear. I kind of like this ingenious idea. If Ferrari found something here, granted, teams can copy it, but Adrian Newey has once famously said, you can't just copy one part because every part from the front to the rear works together, so you might have to change some other parts with it. But maybe they're onto something here. Just a little like shield, rear shield, I guess we can call it, to block the exhaust gases a little bit to get more downforce. I don't know. I kind of like it. I would love to hear what everybody else thinks about this and what they feel about this. And do you think this is an advantage? Do you think this is Ferrari just trying stuff out? I don't really know, but I love change. I love change in cars that make car go fast. Like Nick has famously said, car go fast equal good. And I just think this is a genius idea. If this works out, it's like a little shield. I don't know. It's insane. I love it. And then going back to the testing results, a little rundown, kind of what happened. Ferrari obviously showed serious pace. Good lap count with both of the drivers. 70 laps from Charles, 44 from Lewis. It seems good, and it seems like Lewis is getting way more comfortable. And I think he's even said so, that he's starting to get more comfortable with the car, which is awesome to see. We might be able to see Lewis Hamilton back, and the cars are looser now, and they're like more agile, and maybe this is what Lewis has been waiting on. And if he can find his stride again, oh, I would love it. It would be beautiful. It would be awesome. I'd be so hoping for it. And then George Russell set the fastest time, obviously. And then they brought upgrades that visibly improved their on-track behavior comparative to where they were last time. So Mercedes is cooking up something, which is awesome. And I don't know if Mercedes has this very, I don't want to say habit. They always sandbag. So it's weird to see them up top, and if they are still sandbagging when they're on top, we might be interesting. And for some good racing, which would be awesome. And then you have the last season champions, McLaren, their high lap counts again. And both drivers split between short pace runs and long stints. And Norris and Piastri both said the car felt better. It's competitive overall, close lap times, and on the race sim or everything looks solid. And so it seems like Mercedes and McLaren have kind of got this figured out, which is awesome. On to my favorite team, Red Bull Racing. One of my favorite teams. Sorry about that. They're kind of I don't know. Max did not take any laps this uh, session, but Isaac did 66 laps, and he was still up there, which is kind of impressive. They say that they're still working on the balance of the car, which, yeah, it's been early testing, and they're just gathering data. But if that is the time that Isaac can set 0.8 off the fastest lap set by George, when Max gets in there, they might be the fastest tomorrow or tonight, however the timing works. But yes, it is. They might be fast, and it kind of cool to see these teams be competitive again. Instead of having like a 3 or 2 team battle up top, we're kind of expanding it. Ferrari looks competitive and everything, and then the Williams right up there, Carlos Sainz. It seems good. Like we might have an upper midfield battle with Williams, and then look at Alpine right there, Colapinto. That's insane. What is going on? Like they had the midfield pace is good. The midfield seems so good there. It's so compact, and I'm very happy with this. I love for I don't know. I would love for more racing throughout and if we can get the regulations correct and we can get it so they actually race against each other correctly and it's not just DRS train or DRS train, this shows that it might be working. Granted, this isn't a full race. This is just teams running or whatever. Real quick, on the bottom, we have the American team. They had the least mileage due to sensor/telemetry issues. And it seems that it's just a little bit of a technical glitch, and hopefully they get a bounce back and do better. But I don't know. I'm hoping that they do bounce back because, as Nick and I said, that they are the American team. The Haas team is the step team. They're the stepson of the American team. Words are hard for me right now. I'm not used to talking this much. Anyways, on to my slowly becoming. Okay, guys, this is just between you and me. No one say anything. I really enjoy Aston Martin. I think I like them a lot. Okay, guys, that was just between us. No one can say anything, okay? Anyways, on to Aston Martin. They had a rough day. They had a really, really rough day. It seemed Lance had a engine gearbox issue where his engine just cut out and he ended up spinning. So that's not cool, and I don't know. The quote Fernando Alonso back when he was at McLaren and he was quoting talking about the Honda engine. I think the GP2 engine is back, and it's not looking good for the team. But on the plus side, before I go into all these downsides, we did get one beautiful look today. We got the look of the underneath of that car. Oh my goodness, is she gorgeous. Look at those designs of little wings. Oh my goodness. Adrian Newey cooked something today. I'm sorry, I was reading Mose. He said, remember last week? We know you are an AM fan. You compared Newey to Phil Jackson. That is correct because Adrian Newey is the GOAT of Formula One. I will die on this hill. Anyways, Aston Martin, their pace. What is going on? That Honda engine is so bad right now. They're 4.5 seconds slower per lap. It is insane. I don't understand how Honda had produced this championship worthy engine before. And this insane run that they did with Red Bull, but then they come back to Fernando Alonso, who last time they were with Fernando, it was not very good. And they're like, oh yeah, hey, we're just going to do the same thing that we did last time we were with Fernando and give him the GP2 engine, which GP2 was the feeder series at F1 back in the day. Now it's F2. I just don't get it. So they announced that they were coming back into Formula. Honda announced that they were coming back into Formula One back in 2023. They had 3 years to figure this out. I get it. The new regulations and the power shift from 50, it's now 50-50. It's 50% power from the engine, 50% power from electronics. But like, I don't know. Honda really shot themselves in the foot leaving Formula One and then coming back because they have said that they had a skeleton crew after their departure because when they left Formula One and then they came back, they didn't have all the team members that they had last time, so they didn't have all the people. So I don't want to create all these excuses for Aston Martin, but that Honda engine's so bad right now. I don't get it. And apparently, in the testing today, they saw that the screens were off, and like people from the paddock and everything, and they had the engine cover off, and they were looking inside the engine with a bore camera to look inside the bore, which is like where the piston rings and everything sit. And that's not good. So maybe hopefully they found something, but even if they did find something, you know how long that's going to take to rebuild an engine? Like, not even just rebuild an engine, to build an engine, to make sure everything works, to figure out the problem. And we have 2 weeks before the start of the season. And we have a team that's 4.5 seconds slower. This is not looking good right now. The timetable is really bad. But to jump back on the Adrian Newey train, he once in IndyCar designed a car that had a naturally aspirated engine that beat turbocharged engines. He designed a car with that much aerodynamic efficiency and everything, so it would beat them. So if anybody could help do aerodynamics to kind of circumvent power, it would be Adrian Newey. But he did that back in the day when people really didn't care about aerodynamics. They just said more power. Who cares about drag? He cared about it back then. He was ahead of the curve. So yeah, it might be different now, but I'm just saying, if somebody were to do it, to be him, hopefully, because I would hate to attach my car to a team that ended up being very, very bad, which would be my luck, yes, but I also attached my fandom to a team that was really awful at the very beginning, or really good, really awful, then really good again, and we won a championship. And I'm talking about the OKC Thunder above my head. So hopefully we see Aston Martin become good. And yeah, Mose, V10, V12, screw your arrow. That's exactly what it was back in the IndyCar back in the day. He famously said that people can think that they can overcome the drag just by putting more horsepower, where he kind of circumvented the drag and created more circumvented the drag, even though he had no horsepower, and just created more downforce, where he was creating more downforce than drag. And it's insane how this man designs cars. So I really hope that he can figure this out, but I don't see him fixing an engine, and I just don't. I really, 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 really hope Honda gets working overtime or something so they can get this engine up and going for the next, I don't know, 2 weeks or whatever. I don't understand how it took this long to realize it was bad. We saw the engine last time last testing barely hit the RPMs that other teams are having. Did they not hook this up to a dyno? I don't understand. I don't know. I'm lost for words right now because I don't know how to even theoretically fix it or theoretically not fix it. I really don't know. Anyways, I think that's about it for my rant. I don't think I have very much news other than really quick weird news. You guys want a weird news segment? I don't hear anybody say no. You know Richard Hammond from the show Top Gear. I don't have pictures for this because I just thought about this. But Top Gear, Richard Hammond, he has a daughter, Izzy Hammond. She is a Formula E driver now. She's racing in Formula E. And I saw a video of her going through the paddock and the garage going, this is my car. These are my helmets. I use these. And then there was one, she walked up to a video screen. She's like, this is a video board, so you can watch me go around the track and not hit walls. And then it's a hard cut to her hitting a wall. and her walkthrough was before she did actually hit the wall. So I just want to say she was fine afterwards, but the apple doesn't fall far from the tree with that. And that is amazing. I hope she does really good. I really do. I'm not trying to make a joke about this or anything. I just think it's funny how her dad is famous for being the funny guy and guy who crashed to launch a car off a cliff and it was on fire for 2 days. I love Top Gear, but it's nice to see his daughter in motorsports and taking after her dad and everything. And I love how racing is becoming acceptable. And I don't know if it's acceptable, manageable, or the entry level is coming down for. It's not just so stagnant. Like you have to be in a car since you're 4 years old to be able to drive in this series. Like we saw Leah Block. Granted, she deserved it in the Formula W. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting it. The women's Formula Series. And now we have Hammond's daughter Izzy. It's nice to see people get their fair shot and fair shake, and it's not just I'm not just excluding it to the women. I'm seeing like everybody, but it's nice to see the women getting their shot too, and not just the women's Formula One. I forget the name right now, and I'm so bad at that. Oh, also silly news segment. We're doing silly news. The Aston Martin safety car from the very famous 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. You know which one I'm talking about. The one that caused Lewis Hamilton to not win his 8th championship. Had to think of the number there. That safety car is up for sale. If you have the pocket change of 600,000 euros. It's an Aston Martin Vantage 4-door V8, 4.0 V8. Sorry about that. 2-door car, very beautiful looking car. It has 12,476 miles on it. It's also for the description. Whoever put this car up for sale, they understand Formula One, and I love them for it. The description just says a car that shaped a title race. And I just think that is beautiful and funny. And the car is gorgeous. And if you guys want to go 50-50, or if you guys want to chip in and help me buy this, I will contribute 10 euros if somebody wants to loan me the rest. It'd be great. But anyways, I think that's enough of me rambling. Thank you guys for sticking with me on this single-seater episode. I'm sorry that Nick wasn't here, but thank you for letting me drive a car by myself tonight. Sorry about the rambling and everything going wrong. It's kind of weird to just be able to talk and not hear somebody back. So, but anyways, thank you guys for sticking with me. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Thank you, the Formula Fridays fans, fanatics.